with the Patriot Hour for Friday, November 9th, 2018. I'm Michael, your host, and we're here in the studio. We got Ben with us. He'll join us here in a minute. I just want to take a second to say, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, maybe toggle the switch. After you ring the bell, toggle the switch to work with you and your device in the best possible manner. Take a look down in the description box and take a look down in the comment section. Leave a comment and take a look in the comment section. We got some of the greatest patriots all around the globe right here on this channel, part of the Patriot Hour, here to help you, guide you, lead you in the right direction with many links and articles and videos, just a whole slew of good things. So without any further ado, let's get Ben in here. All right.
How you guys doing this afternoon? Super excited to be remote in the studio.
All right. Yes, we have lots going on, lots of things we want to talk about a little bit.
For sure. Yes, there's some crazy stuff.
We do have some voting issues still going on, folks, down in like Florida. And I'm not real sure. It's like they're still counting ballots at this minute.
Yeah, I think they had something to do with, there was an off count with the actual ballot to how many people physically showed up and signed their name and said, okay, I'm here to cast my ballot.
Yeah, it's like they're in chaos down there. There's thousands of ballots that remain yet uncounted. And the outcome of the state's key elections could remain unclear for weeks. So now we have the governor position being contested by the Democrat guy that lost. He already conceded, but now it's like, well, let's
demanding a recount.
Yeah, demanding recounts, and it's going to cost lots of money and lots of time. And I just don't So yeah, but nowhere in the chaos more dramatic than in Florida, where two major South Florida counties, Broward and Palm Beach, have yet to count thousands of votes. Like, how is this? How does that even happen, folks?
It's interesting that we've seen this before, where the ballots that were casted versus the individuals that came to show up to actually cast their ballots didn't match. And that's where the whole, oh, wait a minute, got to do an audit. I can remember this when I was younger. Old Jeb Bush did that, if I can remember correctly, years ago.
Yeah, there's been more recounts down in Florida than in a classroom full of kindergartners. Learning how to count.
Learning how to count. Mm-hmm.
So the battle over the future of Florida and the Senate could continue for weeks as recounts and lawsuits commence. As of Friday morning, Scott led Nelson by about 15,000 votes, and DeSantis led Gillum by about 36,000. All of Florida's 67 counties have until noon on Saturday to send their unofficial vote counts to the Florida Division of Election. Ballots collected in Broward as of Thursday evening show that almost 25,000 people voted in the governor's race, but not in the Senate. Democrats have blamed the fact that the Senate box appeared in a corner of the ballot beneath the instructions, saying many voters missed it.
So now they're saying it's well, it wasn't presented well. Now we've
something
heard
that when you look at that
narrative
before and make the big stink. Florida's Secretary of State, a Scott appointee, is tasked with ordering the state-mandated recount. 6 races could have recounts: a U.S. Senate seat, governor, state architectural commissioner, a state Senate race, and 2 state House races. Machine recounts must be completed by 3 p.m. on Thursday. That's already over. The state will allow 3 more days of manual recounts if the margin between 2 candidates is less than 0.25%.
Okay, so they may have, there's your couple of extension days and what, so should have been done by today is the 3 days, maybe Saturday, or what would be the 3 days after the
It'd be Saturday by noon or whatever they said. Saturday by 3 p.m. or Saturday by, but last night watching, I I don't know, I was watching a little bit of CNN, of course, for like 15 minutes just to see what they were spreading. And it was Chris Kumo's show, and he brought this up, the whole, how Scott brought up, they're cheating, and he misquoted them, and then the whole panel went into, well, there's no proof for somebody just to come out and start saying things about cheating, and that's exactly what's going on in this country for the last 2 years. Maybe people are picking up on what you guys do all the time, and now they're mirroring you and mocking you, and they've learned from you. Well, that's not how we wanted it to happen. I don't understand, but that's crazy.
I believe it's the classic. They can take it, they can dish it out, but they can't. They can't take it. I mean,
careful which dish out, because you might get it dished in.
I mean, well, it's classic. I mean, we see, scream, scream, scream until I look at who's screaming, and then it's all, oh my gosh, I'm the victim here. You're victimizing me. We see it's just more word porn. It's more semantics. It's more trying to shake the right hand with the left hand, stabbing you in the back. So we've seen it before. It's definitely being ramped up. We can see what's happening with these individuals that are coming together in a massive amount of people and heading towards our border with one goal, and that goal is not to get in here the legal way. Therefore, I would deem that, and I would agree with the military leaders and the commander-in-chief of our great nation that it's an invasion.
Yes.
So, and that on top of everything else with, what is it, that 28-year-old representative, what is it, from California, Nevada, New Mexico, somewhere in there, I don't remember what state, totally spewing out Marxist, socialistic ideas and not even understanding the history of what she's saying. We were talking about this in Garage Talk, and I mean, it's the rhetoric is getting very, very dumbed down, and people have no idea really what they're chanting. They're just getting together and everybody's chanting, oh, I want to get into that. What's this about? Don't worry, just start yelling this. Okay.
Yeah. In another little off piece of news here, we had Michelle Obama come out with a book, I think on Thursday or Wednesday, and one of the it's a new book, and it's called Never Forgive. And or she wrote in her new book that she'll never forgive the president, which is Trump, for promoting the birther movement about her husband. And Trump had wrote, she got paid a lot of money to write a book, and they always insist that you come up with a big controversy in your book. Trump told reporters this in a little before departing for Paris. So he did depart for Paris already.
Okay.
This is Friday morning. Earlier. Yeah, this is a couple hours ago here. Let me bring this article up.
Ooh.
So, yeah, President Trump on Friday hit back at former First Lady Michelle Obama after she wrote in a new book she'll never forgive the president for promoting the birther movement, chiding her husband, ex-president Barack Obama, for what he did to our United States military. She got paid a lot of money to write a book, and they always insist that you come up with controversy, Trump told reporters at the White House before departing for Paris. Well, I'll give you a little controversy back. I'll never forgive President Obama for what he did to our United States military by not funding it properly. It was depleted. The president said the military's equipment was old and tired. I came in and I had to fix it, and I'm in the process of spending tremendous amounts of money, so I'll never forgive him for what he did to our military, Trump said. The president was responding to Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming, in which she writes that Trump jeopardized her family's safety by promoting the birther conspiracy theory, which claimed Barack Obama was born in Kenya, not Hawaii, thus making him ineligible to be president. The whole birther thing was crazy and mean-spirited. Of course, it was underlying bigotry and xenophobia, hardly concealed. It was also dangerous, deliberately meant to stir up wingnuts and kooks. Michelle Obama wrote, well, I'll tell you what, you're worried about your family's safety and promoting the birther conspiracy. Well, I was worried about our country's safety under your husband and his unethical and unconstitutional acts against our border and things that he did with executive orders to just go right around my constitutional rights and your constitutional rights.
Oh yeah, I mean it's hilarious. I'm looking at the Washington Post that I posted a couple hours ago, and this quotes President Trump. He added, "He'll never," quote President Trump said, "I'll never forgive him for what he did in many other ways." Trump continued, "What he did to our military made this country very unsafe for you and you and you."
Yeah.
So I mean, that right there is just a good clean smack in the face of he made our country unsafe. No matter what you want to say about his ethics, how he went about it, what he did, his actions, whatever, the end result was our country was extremely unsafe and was on the brink of, frankly, they say, oh, the third world war, but when you get a bunch of countries together and they want to start fighting against each other and there's army is involved, that's considered a war. And if we all get together and do it, so we're just logical thinking here. So I mean,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
this is amazing, the fact that they're screaming, crying wolf, when the fact is our economy is doing amazing, our military is doing amazing. I feel safer now more than ever. That's why this what's happening hundreds of miles from our border doesn't affect me one bit. Why? I feel a lot safer. I didn't feel too safe about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. No, exactly. What about the California shooting, folks? I'm reading an article here. The mom, I don't want prayers. I want gun control. So, Navy veteran. This guy was a Navy veteran. No,
Is he a Marine or is he never in?
he was a Marine, but there's a Navy veteran. So here's the other thing. We had Vegas massacre shooters at this same bar. That ones that survived the Vegas thing a year ago.
The Vegas shooting, yeah.
How they just happened to be at this place, They had to go through a whole nother gun attack. What are the odds? Coincidence or what? So yeah, Navy veteran Telemoskis Afranos, a Vegas massacre survivor, did not make it out of the Borderline Bar and Amp Grill alive. His mother, Susan, made an emotional plea Thursday for gun control. So this guy survived the Vegas massacre, but didn't survive this one. This is the first you're hearing of this, or?
No, we've been following this. I mean, this is just amazing, you guys. If you put the pieces together, it's like, what is the deal with all of these, these mass shootings that's happening very recently, right around the midterms, the stuff is coming in. Why is he survived the Vegas shootings? And all of a sudden he turns up in this.
And we know a lot of Vegas survivors were getting killed after they survived the Vegas shooting or
car accidents, dying, heart failure, all that kind of good stuff,
So definitely a tragic event, but we're going to be keeping our eye on it. Now, again, this guy, they're not going to pitch. We need to get rid of assault rifles. This was done with a 45 caliber handgun. He had one extended clip, and of course he was trained in the Marines. He was combat. He definitely had the training to be able to reload a gun really, probably a little bit faster than most people.
Now, again, I don't confirm or deny this. This is a CNN.com.
Yeah.
It is, but they say, according to authorities, say that Ain Long, a 28-year-old, fired a Glock 45 caliber handgun without a word as patrons line dance and borderline bar and grill at Thousand Oaks late Wednesday night. So, according to CNN, it was a pistol. We've talked about this many times that most quote unquote mass shootings, which is now I believe dropped to 4 or more, are done with handguns, automatic, ACP, automatic cocking, pistols, or semi-automatic pistols. So you don't see the whole quote unquote the assault rifle that everybody shows up and say, look how deadly this thing looks. It looks evil. But I believe there is that narrative of totally stripping away arms, period, doing away with our Second Amendment. And I think these little things that pop up. I mean, there's been some on the internet theories, hypotheses of another MK Ultra possible. Remember, these people will do anything they can, and they're doing their last Hail Marys to the last 2 years. The midterms are over. There may be a couple of ratioing differences by one or maybe two candidates, depending on the recount here in Florida and some other things. But for the most part, we're pretty much locked into where the
There's
Senate
still a
and the
few
House is going to
seats.
be.
I think the GOP's got 51 to 46 or something, but there's still
Mm-hmm.
two more available or not counted yet, I guess. So,
Mm-hmm. And the House, I think
yep,
it has a couple
that's
maybe
how
up
that
there,
goes.
depending on what happens in the
Yes,
Florida and
exactly.
other regions.
Yes.
So we're still going to wait. And we said, so it's very interesting to see a lot of the narratives that are happening right now that are trying to take a lot of the nation's eyes off of the plan, our goal, draining the swamp. You know, with people not talking about crimes against children and human trafficking. It was about the midterms, and that was a very pivotal step in this long ring of many steps. And so I'm definitely I'm hoping. I'm edgy. I'm anxious. I want things happening now. Q said it's on the Senate side now, so I want to start seeing some things happen real soon now. I'm also probably expecting a lot of blockades, a lot of resistance in the House now, obviously because of the Democrats have the majority now. That could be a smaller majority as things play out in Florida, but I think by next this first business day of next week, we'll probably know a lot more about recounts, auditing, and where
Well,
each
they're
state
even
stands.
talking about down at the border with all that anyway. We were bringing up the caravan and whatnot, but Jeff
Hmm.
Sessions at one point did bring up his idea for all the issues of let's do blood tests on these parents
Hmm.
to see if they're belonging, who they're carrying. And they said a lot of these people weren't showing up to claim these kids because they
Children
didn't
left
belong to
there.
them.
Hmm.
So what we had here is a huge amount. And I'm not saying the caravan alone, but just at any time when we were doing the separations to get these kids back, maybe you have to get a little blood pulled, and it's not so humane. We just want to make sure the kid matches up with you. And
Biological identification when you're trying to find your child, if you don't have the proper, I mean, think about it. That's not an inhumane thing to see, because the only paperwork that we recognize here is actually United States paperwork, i.e., a identification card from the United States, from a driver's license from one of the states within the country. If you don't have any of that, what's the next way for us to identify and
well, it's just like these
vet you?
states that want, most states you have to show an ID to you get a library book,
Yes.
to buy liquor, buy a pack of
Hmm.
cigarettes, to enter a movie that's 17, rated R, you have to be 17 or older or accompanied by a parent. They want an ID.
Yep.
And we're all used to throwing it out. But all of a sudden it's like, well, for voting, one of the most sacred, precious things to the citizen of the United States.
Yes.
So we make sure it's not messed with, because cheating on ballots or during election time is very wrong, and we know it happens. We know people want to win so bad that if they have a
They're
chance to throw a
prone.
box
Hmm.
of votes away that don't go their way, that they'll do it in a heartbeat.
Hmm.
And I think there needs to be some stiff looking into the Florida. It seems like they're the ones with the issues all the time, and I don't know what the heck's going on, but it's not racist to ask for an ID. We cannot go down this path, folks, of these people can't afford one or something. And
Yeah, because that's a nonsensical standpoint to even to stand from. I mean, they can't afford and they're coming here because they're so poor. It's like, most individuals don't really realize that it takes a lot of money to travel from there to here. So what do you mean they don't have enough money? If they just would have kept all the money they spent, like 20, 30 grand it takes, and they say, well, yeah, that doesn't really cost that. These people will promise, and you owe me this, and they come across the border, and there's these slaves, and there's child, trafficking, and this kind of stuff, and it's payback. And I agree, there's a dirty cycle, a part of it, but you know, maybe the USMCA agreement with Canada and Mexico, especially Mexico. Aren't we going to be generating more jobs there, helping that economy? So a lot of this stuff is just really, it's a dog and pony show getting whipped up, and you know, who's funding all of these people? This massive amount of people traveling requires an immense amount of logistics, an immense amount. The common person doesn't understand the amount of logistics it takes to move 1,000 people. How about 2,000? How about 5,000? How about 10,000 people? You know how much waste is created every hour from a mass of 10,000 or more people? Like, I'm talking
Yes.
human waste, food waste. There's waste from, everything from clothing to shoes to everything to possibly in each town they're rolling through. It's like a one of my
Well,
CEOs
just
said, telling
them
me,
moving in general would create, like I said, I was on a ship of 6,000 people. We used to pull into small islands like in Dubrovnik, Croatia, where I pulled into, and we
yes,
spent 4 days at. That put a hurting on a
the
island or
local
an
economy.
area where they
Yeah.
only have maybe 3,500 or 4,000 people, and we're a ship of 6,000. You can literally
Mhm.
eat and drink them out of food, water, beer, and necessities, and clog up lots of toilets. It's all the
Yeah.
possibilities of that. So yes, a caravan of 15, 10,000, 15, 20,000 making its way through. Yeah, you'd imagine there's always constantly that amount of people, a couple people using the restroom. The minute they get done, there's probably somebody else that has to go. And
And a
yeah,
lot of these people aren't using traditional facilities for anything. So what we're getting at here
yes.
is somebody is doing the logistics to move these people, and then the aftermath of cleaning up of the little small cities. Because my CEO used to tell me that when you get that many people moving through a small amount of area, they're like locusts. They will devour all resources in their path, and they'll keep on continuing to their main objective, and they'll only leave a wake of destruction and desolation for the most part. Is what he's trying to explain, is for the fact that somebody's behind this. This isn't an organic movement. Let's all get together and we're going to sing Kumbaya, and we're going to hold hands across America and break free the
Yeah,
walls of tyranny. Well, this is not what this is about. This is literally trying to tear apart our Constitution. Literally.
exactly. And we have laws, folks. That's it. Trump said it. He said, hey, to Acosta. So we'll go back to that. We'll finish up on this here. We'll talk about Acosta for a few minutes, and we're going to shut this down. Folks, this guy, journalist or not, yes, we know he's a mockingbird operation soldier for the cause. But if you're at home watching this, you got to understand what you're seeing here. And when you have a room full of reporters on the press room floor, the etiquette is that mic. It's like the talking stick. You don't talk unless you have it, and when you get it, you get like a question. You don't get a badger somebody for 15 minutes, and then when they don't give you the answer that you want, because that's, I mean, here we go. It's just Jim Acosta. Well, why did you call it an invasion? Well, Jim, because that's what I think it is. That's what I'm seeing it is. And that's where we might differ in opinion. That's how he answered it. No, it's not. You're wrong. And I'll tell you why. That is and he went in to tell Trump what it was. And Trump's like, oh, well, thank you for telling me that. Like, he actually even said that. Thank you for
Let
telling
me
me.
run the country, and I'll let you run your own thing. Exactly. The
Yes.
second it went from a question and answer to a debate of opinions, that's where he crossed the line in
It's
journalism
done.
right
It's
then and there.
over.
Perfect.
Who wants to hear
I'm
all
not,
that?
we're not
All
you
he
no
had to
longer
do was
report.
ask the question. He got his answer. He could wrote down, Trump says it is an invasion and stands by it. And then go get your experts, put together a piece for tomorrow's paper or your CNN website, or do your talk show, go on Don Lemon's and talk about it. Oh, well, did you see that? So yeah, Trump was the one that finally said, you're done, and pointed at the lady to do her job and get the mic back. And he actually told, hey, get it to this guy. And he turned towards that other guy. And he's like, go ahead. But the guy didn't have the microphone yet. He's still over there. So it was hilarious And then he karate chopped that poor woman. So yeah, that's why he got banned.
Oh, how Acosta violently accosted that young woman on the press house floor.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
tragic.
unbelievable, folks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's press room floor etiquette. You get a question out, maybe you can get two out, but you don't have to. Time and time again, this guy's been rude. He likes to ask a question, not get the answer he wants, and then keep going off that and moving along. And he'd have no respect. It'd be like, hey, an hour's gone by. What about everyone else? Well, this is all about me and my questions
Me,
and
me,
my
me,
dialogue.
me.
And you might not like questions you don't get, folks. So that's just how it is. You ask a question, and you're going to get your answer. No. Did you want him to give you the perfect answer? So then you coincide together, Jim? Like you want him to think how you think? So that's the biggest question, folks. Who do you believe? Jim Acosta or Trump and military? It's an invasion, or Jim saying, no. That's not what it is. And like he's some kind of expert in what? Nothing.
Definitely not military operations, more in feeling preparations, really. So
Yeah.
I agree. I would rather go off somebody who has the military in his ear, letting him know tactics and what possible things are, and the trove of lawyers, of constitutional individuals, and all these people give him all the angles versus a news individual who reports off bias and
Yes.
emotional issues.
They can call it whatever they want anytime a single person crosses a border. They can call it whatever they want, but the main fact is if you stand by the Constitution, there's certain words for it, and we call it an illegal act, crossing our border. And nobody likes to hear it, or they want to make it, oh, well, they're just hungry. Well, that could be true that they're hungry, but all we said was that was an illegal act, and people like to take it to everything other than what you're saying. We're just saying it's the law of the land, and you can't promote, if anything, promote changing the law and molding the law to work for you and your agenda. But that takes paperwork and doing
That's
lots
a
of things.
process. Yeah, that's
You
a
don't just
process.
do one first, call for everyone to break the law, and then afterward, well, if there's enough of you doing it, they might just not look at it. That's kind of that's the slippery slope, folks. So, got any comments on all that? Drop them down below for us. We'd love to hear them.
Yes.
Maybe drop some comments on any other hot topics you guys want to maybe see us do another video on here later.
Yeah, we did a little bit of garage talk, and like I said, lots of love to all of our patriots and comments. Please subscribe, definitely share. Um, read for yourself, connect the dots, man. There's so much happening in your world right now, in our world. It's an awesome time to be alive, and there's lots of stuff happening on every front, and so there's no shortage of rabbit holes to dive into and start, letting those around you know what you discover.
All right. You heard it there. That was Ben. Grateful to have him on the Patriot Hour here today. We're probably going to be doing another one here later on. Again, just wanted to get something out to you folks. There's lots of breaking news going on, lots of things with the voting, things with our border, and things going on the White House press secretary floor. We are trying to put a stop to this. There's no big loss with Acosta being out of there. Is he out forever? Probably not. Maybe so. Who knows? But let's just enjoy the peacefulness while he's not. There'll be somebody else there to pick up the shoes. The story's still going to get out. Probably, just without people like him there trying to excite the president anyway with all his rhetoric. They like to talk about Trump and his rhetoric, but look at this guy, not asking questions, doesn't get the answer he likes, so then he wants to try to inform the president of what this is down there and in his skill set, what he thinks it is. That's just a difference of opinion. Move on. And then, doesn't want to let the mic go and proceeds to karate chop and do all these things to this poor innocent woman that was just doing her job. So, All right, I'm Mike. This is the Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed each and every one of you worldwide, and we'll see you back here on the next Patriot Hour update video. Have a great afternoon into your evening.